everybody, welcome to First Glance with Jody, Vance. It's kind of a reunion episode here as we are with Karim Rayani, who you may or may not remember from Pocket Gold, but we're talking Marvel. Marvel Discovery Corp is the subject of our conversation today. Karim, nice to see you again.
You too, Jody. Always a pleasure.
It is so fun to chat with you because we talk about some of the things that society really needs and is hungry for, particularly now as we move forward in a more electrified sense, in a less carbon emission, less fossil fuels led, and more into the mining lane of finding a way for cleaner energy. And, you know, the conversation around nickel and copper and uranium, and of course, gold when we're watching the stock market do this. And if you're listening to this and not watching, I just did the up and down like crazy because we're all looking at the markets as they are. But let's talk specifically about Marvel Discovery Corp. Give us the overview. What is Marvel?
So Marvel is a multi-commodity play. I get a little criticized on this for, we have a number of gold assets in Newfoundland. We're one of the top landholders there. We've got uranium assets, which we recently acquired in the Athabasca Basin.
Right.
We've got gold projects in Ontario, and as well as Newfoundland, and battery metal projects, both in Ontario and in Quebec. So really what this is all building into is a story where, we've got so many assets that we're now starting to pay dividends out to the shareholders. So one of the assets that was under the Marvel umbrella is one of the highest grade nickel targets in Canada. It's located in Elliott Lake, Ontario. We completed the spin out about 6, 7, 8 months ago. The new listing should be trading in the next 90 days or less. We've received our first comments back. So we paid a very healthy dividend based on every 5 shares in Marvel, you get 1 in the new company. So, that's really, the reason I do this. Marvel as kind of the umbrella, or the head of the focus, and then we issue these dividends out on assets, put teams together, and that way we don't have to further dilute Marvel, and shareholders are very pleased moving forward.
So acquisition, exploration, and development of mineral assets in Canada, and as you mentioned, multiple properties that pay dividends on what you have under that Marvel umbrella. It's coast to coast. You have properties, as you mentioned, BC, Newfoundland, heavy concentration in Newfoundland. Why is that?
I think most of your viewers probably have heard of a company called Newfound Gold. Newfound Gold was trading 50, 60 cents for the longest time. About 3 years ago, the stock took off, hit a monster hole, 50, 100, 150 grams at very decent intercepts and decent widths. The stock took off to, I think at that time, $8, $9, $10. Eric Sprott, the Canada's resource billionaire, has put in 200 million plus. He owns about 33% of that issuer. He's gone on record saying it's probably one of the biggest gold discoveries in the last 10, 15, 20 years. So just like how Great Bear created a massive staking frenzy, Great Bear did the exact same thing in Ontario, in Red Lake. They got bought out at $29 a share. Comparing Great Bear to Newfound Gold, both companies don't have a resource calculation. Both companies are, spending, exorbitant, amount of money on drilling, to prove up, what they believe they have. So, Newfoundland, I recognize very early on that we should be focused there. One of the original vendors of the Queensway project, which is held by Newfound Gold, is also the vendor of a portion of our claims. What really separates Marvel from 99% of the issuers or companies focused in Newfoundland is they have gigantic property payments. I'm a prospector also by trade, so a lot of the property transactions we do, or the majority of them we do, I I acquire these assets on staking costs, so no property payments.
Right.
So what this allows us to do is to be able to raise money, focus 90-95% of the money directly towards the project, instead of out the door just trying to hold on to it. Weather is obviously in Newfoundland, for a good portion of the year, you can't get access. We've mobilized crews in Gander, which is directly tied on to Newfound Gold. We did a flyover of the whole area, and what the data shows is that we've encountered, what appears to be a splay off their main Keat zone. So there's two main faults that fall, the Dog Bay Appleton fault and the Grub line. That flows right through the Queensway, and we have a fault, or a cross fault that goes right through. So the airborne data shows that we've got 6 targets. We're very excited with what we believe is an extension. So Marvel has one of the largest land packages off the Key Lake Fault in the Athabasca Basin, tied on to Cameco, which is one of the world's largest uranium producers. And directly below that, we're tied on to Fission. 2 very successful companies in their own right. We've got 1.5 to 3% uranium at surface in a fault, and there's a company called Next Gen Exploration. And Next Gen is on a similar type of trend, just next door to us. The largest undeveloped resource of uranium in the world.
Wow.
And a few years ago, drilling, I counted the fault. It was not down at the basement. It was in the fault, exactly the same type of system we have. So, obviously we're quite excited to get this property drilled. We're tied onto Cameco. They're putting their mine and mill back into production. It's a number of companies spending significant dollars in our camp. So, I think the next 6 months to a year for Marvel, we're really setting ourselves up for success, not only in gold, but now in the energy space.
And an important space, certainly, that is, like you said, a headline for all the wrong reasons. And yet here we are on home soil, being able to search for those necessary ingredients to move forward in a clean energy lane. Marvel Discovery Corp is the company. The president and CEO, Karim Rayani, a good friend of First Glance with Jody, Vance. You can check out the stock on the Toronto Venture Exchange. MARV, M-A-R-V, pretty easy to remember. Just think Iron Man and uranium and copper and gold and nickel. Big stories to be told. Always good to talk with you, my friend. Thanks for doing this.
You too, Jody. Thank you. Always a pleasure.